Happy October, I'm Jenny. This month we are focusing on intuition and learning to receive and listen and kind of more of that divine feminine. And if that sounds interesting to you, I invite you to stick around. And at the end, there will also be a fun reading, hopefully, from the Tarot del Toro. If you joined me last month, you know that September was all about peace and cultivating peace and finding what brings us that so that we can take it with us into the rest of the year. And I'm hoping that you were able to do that. If you'd love to share, I'd love to hear from you, like what are some of the tools that you're using to fill up that metaphorical well of peace for yourself. For me personally, it was challenging because it was smoky for the first half of the month, and at the end of the month, both of my children were sick. But for me, I've really found peace in like the everyday small things. Being outside now that the air is clear, making a really good cup of tea, just really little things that are giving me peace. And so I'm hoping that is the same for you. If you haven't done a video with me before, I'm going to read the messages and then I'll share about them and then I'll do the card reading. So the very first message we received was inner knowing. And it says, it's time to trust the inner knowing, the intuition, the gut feeling, to allow yourself to be open to receiving. This time of the year, there are planetary and seasonal shifts that allow you to connect easier with the spiritual realm of guides and angels. This is a time to be open to receiving, to listening, to learning. This isn't a time for doing, it's a time for receiving. And then they said, teach them how to sit in reception and listen. So, when we talk about energy, there is masculine energy and feminine energy within the body, within the planet, within everything we do. The masculine energy is usually associated with the sun, and it's seen as a doing and an action energy. And as we go into fall here on this side of the world and winter, our planet is shifting into darkness. The days are getting darker, or the days are getting shorter, the nights are getting longer. We're shifting into this darkness, and that is inviting us to shift into more of a feminine energy. The feminine energy is about listening, receiving, slowing down. It's not the time to be the taskmaster or to work on that to-do list. This doesn't mean that you have to stop everything in your life and not do anything, right? Instead, it's just an invitation to take moments in the day to slow down. So you can still, I know with holidays, like for me, I'm the mom, so holidays, there's a lot for me to do, like making sure everybody has their costumes and then making sure everybody's got a good dinner for Thanksgiving, there's Christmas shopping. The to-do list is pretty big actually, but it's important to really tune in with what the energy of the earth is inviting you to do, which is slow down and relax more if possible. And so they asked me to teach you how to sit in reception and listen. Easier said than done, I know. But what a huge difference this small little action will make for you. So how to do this is, first of all, it's best if you can be alone. Now, I know that's not always possible, especially if you're a stay-at-home parent. And I know like if your child naps, that's a sacred time for you to get stuff done. But at least once a day, if not maybe a couple times a day, like if you get in the car to go somewhere alone before you start the engine, or when you get in the shower or the bath. Once you're in there at the end, you can do this before you go to bed, right when you wake up, when you're making a cup of tea, if you're at work and you can take a break and step outside. This is when you can do this, okay? Very simple. The first thing you're going to do is just put your palms up. We do this because this is a sign to source energy, to God, that we are ready to receive, right? Palms down, grounding. Palms up, reception. It's like cups, right? We're ready to have our cups filled. So palms up. You can do this with me if you'd like. You can put them in your lap if you're sitting. If you end up standing, they can just be up. And you're going to close your eyes if you can and just take a deep breath into your belly and let it go. And that's all. And you can do that for as long or as short as you have available to you. So many of us rest with our phones, with our TVs, with music, with a book, with something we're doing, with food, whatever. These are restful things for us, but it's still doing. You're not sitting and receiving or standing and receiving. And so with this fast-paced culture, Western culture we have, it's so foreign to us to sit and do nothing and receive, that at first you're going to think like, I'm wasting my time. But what you're doing is you're sending a message to the angels and guides, to your highest self, to God, whatever you believe in, that you're open to receiving. And you can even say that. You can say, if you're into affirmations or you're into prayers, I'm open to receiving. I'm open to listening. I'm ready to listen. I'm ready to hear. I'm ready to feel, whatever it is, because we're being instructed at this time to really hone that intuition. And really, this time of year is the best time to really start to listen to that intuition and the voice. The winter, the world is going into darkness. The earth is going within to herself. It's time for us to do the same and to really get to hear what we have to say and know what messages are coming through for you. What, gut feeling have you been ignoring? And if you sit in these moments of just pure quiet with yourself, those things are going to be allowed to come through. So that was the first part of the message. The second was, as the leaves fall, we are moving into different energy. Seasonal changes bring energy, a different combination of the elements and guides. There are guides for each seasonal shift and change, and they didn't share all of them. They just shared the one for right now. This is a time for people to connect with Archangel Metatron, to listen to him and connect with him. Ask for his wisdom and guidance. Teach people how to connect with him. So that's just my second lesson that I have to do. So Metatron is he's considered one of the newer archangels, and his name Metathronin is what it was in Greek, means like the seat next to God, and sometimes he's referred to as the voice of God. And the story is that Metatron was actually human and then ascended to archangel, and so out of everybody he understands humans the best, and he's here to help shift us into a better way of being. He is considered the archangel of this time. So there's, it doesn't mean you can't pray to other archangels or work with other archangels, but he's considered the one of this time period currently. And so the best way to connect with him, in my opinion, is to sit in that reception and then imagine either yourself surrounded in a magenta light or a rainbow light, because I have had experiences with him with both. I see him sometimes as surrounded with a magenta light, which is pretty common for most people. Other people does say the same. But then other times I see sort of this rainbow sparkling light, and I've been told that's the rainbow healing energy from God. That's like straight from God, and Metatron is one of the angels that works with that. Raziel's the other that works with that and helps you integrate that healing into your body. So if you've been seeing a lot of rainbows lately, or you really feel connected to rainbows, that might be a better way for you to connect with Metatron, but you can also use the magenta. So you see what works. So you'll sit in the reception. We'll put our palms up, take a deep breath, and then just imagine yourself surrounded in either the magenta or the rainbow light. And the reason why we do that is because like attracts like. And then we just simply invite Metatron. Thank you, Archangel Metatron, for being with me and showing me what it is I need to know, or you can say telling me what it is to know, or you can just have him simply be with you. Thank you for guiding me. Thank you for helping me integrate the rainbow healing into my body. And another thing that he can also do is he can also clear energy. So another thing you can say is, thank you, Metatron, for clearing any negative energy around me and in my space and helping raise my vibration. Amen. Very simple. You can then from there maybe lay or sit in reception a little while, just in that light, imagining yourself being cleared of anything negative around you. And just kind of working with him. If you've never prayed to angels before, or, this is new to you, angels are just pure love, pure light. And I pray to Metatron actually every day. So in the morning when I wake up, I pray to Archangel Michael to cut cords between myself and anything holding me back. And then I pray to Metatron to clear the energy around me and in my home. And then I often will have him just kind of come up in meditations. And I also ask him to guide the rainbow healing from source into my body, into my being. And something too that you can also do is, just say, I welcome you to be with me. It can be that simple. Thank you, Metatron, for being with me. I welcome you. Because angels work under the law of, hands off until you call on them. They're not going to intercede in your life. They want you to do, whatever it is you want to do, and they don't want to impose on you. But once you start talking with them and calling on them, they're happy to help. Like they want to help, and they want to be here. They're here to help humanity shift and to return to a balance on the planet. And I think Metatron especially understands that, having been human at one point, right? So those are really the lessons this month is to start to go inward and sit in reception. Drop the busyness and the task mastery and let yourself have moments of doing nothing, which is very anti-Western culture. Right? But it's, in silence without distraction. Sometimes people will say, oh, I'm just resting. Like resting is playing a video game or being on my phone. That's a different kind of resting, because you're actually, your brain is kind of shut off. I'm talking about a resting where you're fully aware and you're within your being. That's a spiritual kind of rest. And then working with Metatron and letting yourself be open to his guidance. And so I'd love to hear, if you do work with him, maybe some things that come through for you. You can either tell me here in the comments, or you can find me on Instagram and tell me privately if you don't want to share with the whole world on YouTube. And I will be back in a moment to do a reading. I thought this deck would be fun. It's kind of spooky, being based on the Del Toro monsters. Okay, so I'm going to pull 3 cards. We have the Sun reversed, the Valet of Blades, and the 4 of Wands. Okay, so the Sun being reversed it kind of goes with what we've been talking about, right? That it's a time for darkness. It's a time that the sun is actually waning and there is more darkness in there. This particular card is, kind of creepy, but you see the card, the people from the Lovers, and the sun is there protecting them. And so sometimes when reversed, it's like the sun is so blinding that we're blinded from the truth. So I think that goes back to sitting with yourself, being open to reception, and inviting Metatron to guide you into your intuition so that you can really connect to yourself and be able to tell the truth for yourself. And this card, it looks really negative just because she's kind of creepy, but this is actually a card about invention and about a fertile earth. And so really this is a good time for you to create. That's another aspect of the feminine, is the creating. And, it doesn't mean creating and making a bunch of tasks and lists for yourself, but creating just from a place to be creative, to explore, to heal. And so it's time to step into that creative power. And 4 is equilibrium. It's perfect. It's like a perfect square. And so the 4 of Wands, we're really being guided to allow ourselves to be balanced, and it shows that it could be a very good balancing month for us. The Wands representing, kind of the intellect, and so balanced in our logical selves. And so, yeah, it looks overall like a month to dive deep into your own intuition so you see the truth and be creative and allow that to balance you for the upcoming months.